Now I'm ready to start polishing. I've got my lens all fine ground and my lap made, and it's been pressing on my plastic here. This is a lens, so I need to protect the back side. You don't have to do this if it's a mirror, but for a lens it's a good idea. What I use is some packing tape strips. I just put them across the back. Try to keep the bubbles out. Especially around the edge, you don't want any bubbles. And take a razor blade. Go around. Okay. Now, I'm going to start polishing this on top. Telescope mirror, I'd probably start on the bottom, the part on the bottom. But anyway, I'll need to flip back and forth top to bottom anyway as a polish. One of the things I'd recommend is getting a block of wood. Somebody made this for me years ago. Made a nice handle, but I'm just going to use some double-sided tape to stick this onto the back. This is a kind of a thick black tape, so even though this backside is curved, it'll stick on the curve. Protective layer, so put marks on there for the center, like so. That'll stick real well. So, as I showed before, I use this tape to this film Walmart bag for cold pressing, and so underneath there I've got my bubble pack, and everything's cleaned up, ready to go. You don't want any grit around here. So I use 1663 Xerox, it's a cerium oxide, and a 10:1 ratio of water to cerium. And get ready to start here. Make sure it settles out, so you got to really keep it in suspension. And again, it's probably a good idea to just put a drop of detergent in there to keep it, to help it keep in suspension. Now I'm going to start out showing you how to do it by hand, but actually, since I have the machine, I'm going to do it by machine. But if you don't have a machine, you'll be doing it like this. And just set it on. Looks like I got really good contact. That produce bag does a good job of pressing. Okay, so we're ready to start. And normally you want to do just a simple W stroke, one-third diameter, just back and forth. You want to round it off a little bit to look little ovals. Is good, like so. And then keep rotating it. Just want to rotate it constantly. If you can't walk around the barrel, even if you walk around the barrel, it's a good idea to rotate it constantly because you don't want to develop any astigmatism. And see already I get bubbles. I didn't put any detergent here and I'm still getting bubbles, which is good. Helps keep everything circulating. Just a little 1/3 stroke and back and forth W, and then rotate. And that's pretty much there is to polishing. It's actually a pretty simple process, and you know, it should have a nice even smooth feel to it. Shouldn't be crabby or wanting to pivot. That's telling you that you don't have good contact. But it's nice and smooth here. I got a real good contact. And just keep rotating. Actually, this is mostly boring work, just back and forth polishing it by hand. That's why if you can get to a machine, that's the best way to do it. And every so often, I won't need to do it now, but you need to rotate your just randomly rotate your tool on the bottom too. And just back and just continue with this same stroke back and forth. You don't want to do any long strokes because that will start making it aspheric. You'll do that in parabolizing, but just do like a 1/3 overhang front and back. You know, not a long stroke, just a nice normal stroke. And rotate. And eventually the polish will wear down, and well, maybe after 5 or 10 minutes you want to rinse it off and put some new polish on. Keep going. Just a lot of work doing the same thing. One thing now, if this is a mirror, like I said, I would start on the bottom. And if you're working on the bottom, one of the things you want to be careful is that you continually rotate the part. Now, this is the lap, and you should rotate that every so often. But if it's your part on the bottom, you want to rotate it a lot, because if there's a real danger, especially with thin telescope blanks, mirror blanks. Thin blanks have a real tendency to warp, and you can actually warp the part and polish warp into the part and create astigmatism. So rotation is critical to keeping a good figure of revolution and avoiding astigmatism. So when the part's on top, it's real easy to rotate it. But if it's on the bottom, you need to rotate it constantly. And I've seen guys make a serious mistake by actually just taping their part down so it doesn't move, like on a spindle or something. They put it on a flat back and think everything's fine, but if you don't rotate it, you can run the real serious risk of astigmatism. Get the part, if you got a holder taped on the back like I do, when you flip it to the bottom, you need to take the holder off. So I've got protective tape on here, and to get this holder off, I use a matchstick and a paint scraper. Just slide the paint scraper under there and use the matchstick to take it right up. Piece of cake. Here you can see me running my lens on my 2-spindle polishing machine. I have a drip system that drips on cerium oxide every minute or so. And this is the easy way to do it. I've got 10, 15, maybe 17 pounds weights stacked up on it, and I can vary the stroke once in a while, but for the most part this is going to do all my grunt work, basically getting it polished up. Maybe later I'll have to flip it to the top, but I can just let this system go, do all the polishing. I polished this part now maybe a little over half an hour, and it's looking pretty good, but you really need to examine it pretty close. You can take a well, come on, start here. There we go. You can take my LED flashlight and look at the surface with a magnifying glass. Even better if you got a green laser to just lay it down on an angle. Here you see it in the middle. The middle's got a pretty good polish to it. You can see a little bit of reflection off the surface in the center still. If I go out towards the edge, you see a lot more reflection, so that the edge hasn't polished as well as the center, which I expect. So you want to keep polishing until you get it where you can hardly see the laser. You might have a few flakes of dust and maybe just a tiny bit of reflection. As good as you can get it. Should look like that all the way across. Even better. Also, pitch lap may need some work. It will actually start closing in, and you want it to let it go to where it actually closes in. You take the razor blade and widen it if you can. If it's too much, you may have to take a hot knife to do it, but you want to make sure you keep the channels open. Another neat trick to do is if you're having a little, if it's not polishing well, take some, this is an onion bag from the market. Just take some onion bag and press that between your lap, and you'll press in some small grooves, which can help polishing. Helps the polish get in to where it's working. Another technique you can use is some guys will take a razor blade and scratch it, but even better is to take a wire brush and just go over each facet like so. Just kind of stretches it up. You can get that from Harbor Freight for I think 79 cents. So it's a good thing to do. And then it makes the polish faster and gives you more grab on the surface too. Just go over all the facets like that. Now I've got about an hour and a half polishing on this by machine, so it's pretty well polished out, and the laser looks pretty good on it. Just a slight reflection all the way across. It's pretty even. So this is a mirror. I'd be ready to go on to testing, but since it's a lens, I got to do the back side and take off the tape that I put on the back and just go through all this again. Pull all this off, clean it up, and do the other side. Notice on my lap, looks pretty good. It closed in a little bit, but it didn't fully close up. So everything worked out pretty good.